you guys are new to the channel, it really helps me out when you support the channel, so please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite plugins are. Also, check out my Console Classic Sessions pack. It's available now. It's based off of the original legacy plugins that come with all Apollo interfaces, and it's a really quick way to learn traditional signal flows in studios. And I also have this awesome new Studio merch, which you can check out as well. It really helps me out anytime anybody supports the channel, so I greatly appreciate it to everyone that has so far. Thank you so much, guys. What is happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out the video. And we are back for another live stream, Live Mix Monday, where we just hang out and mix. I answer questions, and hopefully you guys get a better sense of, you know, what I do. And yeah, that's what we're doing here. So we are working with Luna today. And I wanted to go over a I wanted to actually go over a song of mine that has made it to radio. Of course, this song is featuring Tennessee from Katrina Burgoyne, and you all need to go check her out. She's amazing. She's my girlfriend, and she's awesome. But this is the mix that we did, and I'm actually just going to completely rebuild it from scratch. I've exported the files. We're going to import it and just completely remix it from the ground up. So in order to do that, we've got to import the stems. We've got to make the actual file here. But yeah, let's get to it here. So let's jump into Luna. And you can see here, I've kind of done just the very basics here. I've named the session, I've set up the folder, and I've got the tempo there. And so once I hit create, we're gonna have an empty project here. And let's go ahead and I'll just go picture in picture here. So I normally work on 4K, so my screen is much smaller than I'm used to. Not a big deal, but you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think of 4K versus 1080. So the first things first that I like to do whenever I go to import, whenever I like to go and import things, I like to make sure that my stems and my files are organized with some sort of, you know, easy to import setup, and then I'll just build out from there. So I've got all of my drum files that we're going to first import. And then of course we'll have to rebuild a lot of the other stuff too. Oops. So thanks for everybody who has joined me here. All right, cool. So what I like to do is usually have my drums in dark colors. I know this is like super basic stuff, but you know, that's where we're starting. I wonder what gray looks like. Gray's kind of cool. Yeah, we're starting from complete scratch today, so I mean, this is kind of what we're dealing with here. Now, nothing's been mixed, so yeah, like I said, just completely scratch, and we're just going to reorganize these here. I like to go kick, snare. This is a simpler mic setup here, so you've got overheads, then rooms, no tom mics. They're kind of just blended into this whole set. Of course, you know how I like to use Easy Drummer, so these are the stems from Easy Drummer. And you guys let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So that looks good. That's kind of the order there. And the next thing is, let's just make these really small. Next thing is bass. Now I'm likely going to duplicate bass. Duplicate the bass, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But we're going to duplicate with the content, and we're going to call this bass amp. And I also like to make this like a darker look, but you know, we want it to be a bit different than the drums, so that's that. All right. Let's see what we got. Vocals. Oh, we got some acoustics here. Let's see, this is why I like it organized, but somehow it must have gotten disorganized. No big deal. Make sure those are all the way back. Acoustic guitars, I like to make them, you know, kind of the color of an acoustic. Use something like a orange or yellow. This is going to be like literally from the ground up, guys. So if you're just now joining me, yeah, this is where we're at. We are literally just building this track completely from the start. I've also got my phone up here, so yeah, I can see your comments here as I work. That was kind of an issue last time. We're working through those today. Let's get some more tracks in here. Let's get the e-guitars going. And all right, so we've got percussion, e-guitars, acoustic, we got the bass. Now we've got to import the piano, and let's go ahead and do that. And for all of the other synth stuff, I'm going to have to actually build those tracks out. I thought it might be cool to show you kind of how I went about doing that as well. But again, this song is a pretty simple arrangement. Sounds real cool. You can go check it out. It's on Spotify now. It's Katrina Burgoyne, Tennessee. So let's create some new instrument tracks. And my computer is saying nope. All right, so what do we need here? So this next instrument track, we're going to go with tune track, nope, contact player. And I actually have saved the preset, so I can load it real quick. We've got one weird brassy kind of thing, and then we've got like yeah, it's kind of like it's hard to explain, but you'll hear it in a second. I'll go through all these. But we also need to duplicate this. And then, hey Christian, what's going on? We are remixing from top to bottom a song that I have that's on radio right now out in Australia. This track's called Tennessee. And it's pretty cool if you go check it out. Kat and I filmed the music video, and I'm in the music video. It's kind of fun fact there, but yeah, we're just remixing this from top to bottom. Live Mix Mondays is basically where I go and hang out, rebuild a session, and answer questions. So happy to answer any question that you have. But yeah, outside of that, we're just going to be rebuilding this mix and see if I can make it sound good, see how the Luna tape summing sounds, see how the Neve summing API, how that all interacts with this. But this is it. We're just going to be remixing today. So, Christian, have you used Luna much? And actually, hold on here. Let's go ahead and opening synth pad. Let's just drop that on there. All right, so let's solo this one out too. And I'm going to start listening to this bad boy. Not sure why that's all that quiet. Oh, hold on, I know why it is. Here we go. So I had to make sure that I have the right synth. I should have named it better when I was exporting the session. And I believe that actually didn't copy this over right. More than likely a export issue of Logic. Logic's funky. As much as I like Logic, I've grown to really despise it. And we're gonna name this one Pad, and then import that one. So this should start pretty much. Okay, yeah, so that definitely didn't do that right. So it should be like that, I think. Oh boy, yeah, that definitely didn't export that one right. Gotta love Logic for that. I'll deal with that in a moment, because I think I can fix that pretty easy. Something like that. Anyways, let's see where the state of affairs is in the mixer. Gonna have to deal with this bass in a minute. It's basically just a duplicate of the other bass tracks. So these snares and stuff like that, they exported from Logic as stereo tracks. They should be mono, so we're just going to put this into simple pan mode. Simple pan mode just basically controls the left and right pans on the stereo track just with one control. Makes it interact as if it were a we're going to do this to this one as well. And like I said, we're just rebuilding this session here. So pretty much everything is going to end up going into simple mode. So with these acoustic guitars, so I've got in this, we've got these two are basically one track. They were just a stereo mic guitar, and then the same goes for these. Now these are going to be mono instances, so I'll manually pan those myself, but these should already be panned exactly where they need to be, at least to recreate the mix anyways. And I believe this telly rhythm is the same way. I haven't imported the vocals, just piano stays in this stereo mode, and these synths can as well. I'm also going to rename this master bus. Cool. All right, so one thing that I like to do, and I've been doing it a lot lately, is bussing together the bass and the, oh, hold on here. Let's turn on Do Not Disturb mode. There we go, okay. So let's take a listen to this real quick, and I'm gonna mute the synths. Yeah, that's completely unmixed, and that's just the opening. Let's make our tracks a bit bigger too. So basically, we don't have any of our markers yet, but pretty straightforward project. We've got a simple opening, vocals come in somewhere right around here, and then the second part of the verse kicks in. You've got some drums and bass coming in, and then the song really opens up in the chorus, comes back into a verse right about here, and I'll probably create markers as the song goes, since we got to rebuild this as well. So let's see, and also let me know if I need to turn up the volume on the track here. So I'm still getting this streaming setup going. This is about the third stream. I think I've got most of the kinks worked out on it. And right here's where the vocal comes through. Might overload the speaker. Check this out. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and let's check out our tracks. We're gonna add a bus. And let's try Neve summing. Let's just go with that. We're gonna make this our D bus. Now, if anybody's familiar with the Brouwer technique, basically all he does is he creates a couple buses, sends all of his stuff there, and that's that. So he's got like a D bus would be like, say, percussion elements. C bus would be maybe like rhythm elements. B bus would be, maybe like layers of synths and stuff like that. Then A bus would be like your primary instruments, like your vocal and maybe your like lead guitar, stuff like that. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We're going to send all of the drums and bass to one thing. So we're going to send all of these out to D bus. And you can see the faders just swapped over to the throw of a Neve, which is kind of cool. All right. Let's check this out. First, let's just listen to D bus as well. So we're just going to focus on D bus for now and try to see if we can get some sort of balance. So let's first pull down pretty much everything except just the kick and snare. And let's go back and loop a section here. Let's change this headroom. Bring in overheads. So when that fill comes in, those toms are kind of overpowering, which is kind of what I want. I want them to really pop out. Definitely don't like that ride being so out there. I like the roominess in the verses. And let's add the side chain in. Decent starting point. Let's bring in the bass. So this bass, it wasn't recorded entirely the best. I think like the performance was good, but the tone wasn't very good. There's not a lot of like low mid-range. So let's go ahead and favorite EQs, the 1081. And we're going to just cut off some of the sub. Just some low, we're going to roll that off. And then let's put it into this bell curve and go to the 300 range and just add a bit. Might even add some more. Now we're probably going to want to tame that, compress that up a bit, maybe even add some tape saturation. That might not be a bad idea. Let's go with the Studer. Cool. We might even add in some stuff a bit later, but let's now get out of that, and now that we've kind of got a basic starting point, let's start adding some of these markers. So the first marker I always add is pre-roll, and I make that just gray. Then the first thing is downbeat. Let's make sure snap is on. Okay. It's going to be intro. And we've got verse going to be here. Yeah, okay. This might even be off by a sampler or two. Should be right on the grid, but it's going to be second part of the verse. It's going to be chorus. I believe the turnaround's right about here. Yeah. Okay, right here is the second verse. This is going to be the second chorus. Oh, I don't like that color. Let's go back to that. What do we do? Green. And I believe right in here is little solo, 4-bar solo. Let's call it a bridge. And we'll just call this next one chorus outro. Cool. All right, cool. So there's the track right there. And I think what we'll do here is probably bust these acoustics together. And we'll still have to mess around with this bass amp setting, but let's get to it. Let's see what we got. Also, I do want to try to fix this intro here. So this guy should really start somewhere around here. Turn that guy down. And acoustic guitar should come in. Okay, yeah, so this is off by about a quarter note. I remember now. It's coming back to me. Cool. Let's make these synths different color too. Let's make them the same as the piano. That way they're all kind of similar there. And another thing we could do if we wanted to clean up this track further is just go through and get rid of like dead areas. I mean, it's all starting to blend together. We wouldn't have to, but it's something that I like to do personally. So it kind of really helps show you where the sections are. Just an easy, simple thing to do. That's probably pretty good there. It's good. I can get more precise with it if I wanted to, but let's just kind of move forward for now. That guitar, verse guitar comes in first. Let's put that above. There you go, that's pretty good. And now for some vocals. Let's listen to this piano real quick too. Cool. Oh man, rebuilding a mix is a lot of work. Workflow. Here you go. So there's no compression here, there's no nothing crazy, so we'll have to go through and really try to play around with these, because I think there was a bit of a preferred sound. The AKG was much brighter on this stereo mic setup, so let's see what we think here. All right, I see a comment here. Little Trash, what up? You're back. Let's see. So what do we got here? Obviously a big UAD guy. Still trying to figure out how Luna's better than Logic. Haven't used Luna too much. Honestly, I think most people will actually answer this the same. I think it's the sound. I think it starts and ends with the sound. And then it also has some added benefits of, like, if you have the Studer or you have the oxide tape Luna extensions, now you can take that out of your DSP and run it on your computer. So that's pretty cool. And then the same thing with, like, the Ampex ATR. So all of those tape plugins that you're used to now can run on that. But then the final thing is that, yeah, it also runs like Neve summing and API summing. So it kind of bridges that gap. If you have the Neve pre's, now you can literally create like a virtual console desk where you've got Neve pre's and they all sum to their Neve summing. And then of course they've got API. We all know they have the SSL stuff, so I'm sure they're going to come out with SSL at some point. I think you'd be crazy not to think they won't do that. And then of course they've also got their own, you know, those old 610 UA 610s. Those used to be a console too, so I'm sure that they'll do something like that eventually. But yeah, that's it. And just to catch you up, if you haven't got caught up already, I'm rebuilding a mix that I'm just basically just rebuilding another mix here, and this is just for fun, just to kind of answer questions. So, you know, as I go along, happy to answer anything that pops up. But let's go ahead and let's do this. Reorganize this a bit. So D-Bus is everything from the bass all the way up to the kick drum. So it's all of that stuff. Next, I'm going to do these guitars, and actually just so they kind of stand out a bit, I'm going to change the color too. Cool. So one thing I want to play with here, yeah, sound's definitely a big thing. Was I previously in Pro Tools? Yeah, great question. Yeah, great question. I actually learned on Pro Tools. I started out on FL Studio. was there for a long time, and then I bounced over to Mac and it wasn't there. That was back in how long ago I was using it. So now, of course, it's on Mac, and that's cool. I still have my license, downloaded it, and I just kind of gotten so far away from playlist-based recording that I'm now, you know, very similar to Pro Tools. But I've been on Logic for years now and quite sick of it. I think that there's a lot of glitches that I find. It's mainly with like how it relates to the rest of my workflow. I'm always glitching out, especially when I'm sending projects between, you know, sessions between people. They have different systems, and for whatever reason, I'm always encountering something weird. So, and it's, yeah, I bounced from one glitchy program to, you know, an infancy level program. I mean, this thing has got a lot of life left to live, so a lot of things to be fixed, but I think overall the sound's better, so I'm happy to switch to it. Cubase is my main DAW, P. Steven says, and he says he's interested in checking out Luna because he's switching to Apollo interface. Well, good on you for jumping over to Apollos. You're not going to find a better interface. And the stuff that they do with their plugins is just next level, as I'm sure you know. So let's go ahead and start bouncing in some of these other tracks. I've got all of the percussion, all of the guitars, all the bass. I've got these synths, I got the piano. So the rest of it is these BGVs. We're just gonna drag them in. And nice. We'll change these guys' color as well. Let's just go, there you go. It's cool for me. So yeah, I'm here straight up. I just do these live mix Mondays just to answer questions. So you guys hammer them away. I'll just keep answering as I go. I've been really enjoying Luna too. Let's do mandolin. Let's bring this in. And then the last thing we got to bring in is our lead vocal. Cool. Let's make the lead vocal stand out too. Just give that. Oh no, we got our pianos that color. That's cool. And mandolin, we're going to move that up here. I'll move my master bus in a minute too. So how do you, P. Stevens, how do you like Cubase? I haven't been on Cubase since my days in college. That was some good times. I always thought it was cool. It definitely looks like it's gotten a lot better, so that's always nice. And then Studio One's come out of nowhere, which has been kind of cool. Haven't had a chance to use that one at all, but yep. Okay, so we've got everything installed here, or everything imported. So let's go ahead and just make this full screen. And let's play around with this bass amp, because I know I want that kind of a sound. Like I said before, the sound of the bass was kind of not enough mid-range, so we'll just listen to that again with the rest of the song here. So I'll probably end up compressing this D-bus at some point, and so I'm going to pull the bass down a little extra to compensate for whenever the compression kicks in and makes this nice and punchy. But these are my settings on the bass. It's not the best bass. It wasn't recorded the very best, and that's 100% my fault. But let's now throw on SVT. Or actually, really, we could even do something weirder. Let's do the raw Proco and just get it gritty. And Let's solo this one out now. That sounds a lot nicer there. Let's add a little bit more mid-range kind of stuff and see what we get. And also let me know if it's not loud enough on your guys' side. I've got a bit more volume I can push through to it, but I'm still trying to figure out my live stream setup. See, here's the thing, right? And this is actually something that I really want to talk about. How do you guys feel about Apple and where it's gone? If you guys are on Macs, how do you feel about them? I couldn't be more frustrated with them at this point. So I've got my laptop. I don't have I'm probably not going to get an M1 device. That's a whole long story I probably won't get into. But the laptop that I have is insanely powerful. When they came out with it, it's a 2018 MacBook Pro, i7, 16 gig RAM. It's not like overpowered, but it's certainly incredibly powerful, plenty powerful enough to run massive sessions. And I'm bottlenecked with the I/O. So I'm using 2 laptops just to stream, which I think is ridiculous. It's a 1 camera setup, but so I've got all the sound routed to this ATEM Mini, and that's that. So I have my session running off of an NVMe external drive. So I've got 1 port just for my Apollo, 1 port for power, and my iLock. I've got 1 to export the video from my screen to the ATEM, and then 1 from the foregone, just like that. Apple, I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, now that rant's out of the way. Plugins, much desired effect to Waves. Yeah, actually, Waves has got some cool stuff out there too, and it's interesting. It's interesting. There was a guy on YouTube that did this really, really technical breakdown of comparing like Waves versus UAD versus the real thing, and I only saw the one video on the LA2A, and the most realistic sounding one happened to be UAD, but from a technical perspective, the Waves technically had the harmonics down better, but it just didn't sound, it didn't translate. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of crazy. And I see a lot of really high-end producers talk about Waves a lot, but in my opinion, they don't sound very good comparatively. Anyway, moving on here. So let's bust these acoustics together. And you know, with acoustics, I really love to do API, but I'm just gonna see what happens when we go with Neve all the way through on this one. So let's go acoustic bus. And I think what I'm also gonna do for this is include the mandolin in this too. So let me move that over next to it. And I promise that I won't take too much time not playing the song. Because I want to get this mix as close to balanced as possible. And I just like to squeeze the headroom. I don't know about you guys, but like one of the coolest things about the UAD stuff is how it emulates like those quote sweet spots and the saturation that you get from the plugins distorting. So I just always find myself just crushing the headroom. I'm probably doing something that's like a huge no-no, but I don't care. Sounds cool. Let's listen to this. Now, in the original mix, the mandolin was hard panned left. That's getting closer, getting closer. Not all too bad. And you know, it's crazy. I don't really have much going on, and I'm sure I'll have to once I start really adding in like the rest of it. But I think a lot of the compression and stuff that I would use just to kind of tame and control the dynamic range is really being eaten up by this headroom, which is kind of cool. So take that for what it is. But yeah, I know I'm going to start using some of these tape sims on these electric guitars. It's going to sound nice. So I'll have to bust these harmonies all together as well. Let's create that. And we'll throw some effects on this. One thing I wish they would do is let you color code your tracks as you create them. That'd be pretty cool. UAD, if you are watching at your own time. So I remember when I built this harmony bus, I remember what I did on it. Is I put a Studio D chorus. I love this. I talk about it a lot on my channel. Don't remember the settings. And then I also had a compressor, and I think at the time, I was just on my twin, so I used one of the 1176s, but it was the SE. And I think for this, I'm just gonna go with, probably just go with Rev-E. I've been finding Rev-E is really cool on vocals. Let's see. Oh yeah, right on, let's see. Yeah, P. Stevens, I agree. Yeah, so the vocals, this is something you'll see a lot on my channel with BGVs as I use this Studio D chorus. I think it's just sounds really cool. But let's go through it and let's see what we got. So all of the harmonies really come in this chorus, so I'm going to just loop this till I kind of get the rough sound. And one thing I like to do is, as I kind of rebuild these mixes, is kind of rebuild the individual stems and the tracks and get the sounds close to where I think they were, and then just kind of build out from there. So that's kind of why I'm being scatterbrained and going all over the place. But if you guys want to see something specific, like I said, just call it out.
Get tired of being alone, rock and roll.
I think I like 3. It's just
buy a ticket.
So I'll go ahead and crush these, have a decent attack, push the release a bit. One thing that I like about the Studio D is if you put that in front of your compressor, or if you put that first on the bus, is that if all of these hit it really hard, of course this starts to have its own distortion, but it also kind of tames the high-end S's, so it kind of acts as a bit of a de-esser as well. And I can show you that. Let's listen to that again.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where? Ooh. Ever get tired of being alone? Rock and roll.
The other thing is it.
Ooh, just buy a ticket.
Yeah, so the other thing it does really well is it spreads out the signal. I mean, there's only 4 background vocals and really only 2 singing at a time, but then when you actually hit the play button, it really spreads them out, and it especially gives depth and dimension underneath the lead vocal, which I haven't processed the lead vocal just yet, but yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where? Ooh. Ever get tired of being?
And let's go ahead and just throw on some tape on this stuff too. Why not? Let's do Studer. Crush it. See how it sounds.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where? Ooh.
Really warms it up. I don't know if I like it, actually. But I think what I could do is do this and go in and just try to mess with the calibration settings and get it brighter. About these BGVs is the brighter it is and then it hits that Studio D chorus, like I said, it kind of tames it and balances it. So I just don't want it to get too muddy underneath. And I could always EQ it, but why EQ it when you can just change the tape? See if I can copy these settings. That might have done it. Might not have done it. It did it. Sweet. That was cool. I didn't know if that was going to do that or not.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where? Ooh.
The other thing I like to do is just slam these too. If you guys don't know it, also, if you hit this like shift click on the release, you can kind of make it into this like high pass compression mode. Sounds different. Let's listen to that.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where? Ooh.
Let's keep it pushed in. And now we can just mute this main vocal, just listen to the whole thing.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where?
I think it actually does need some EQing, so let's just do a, what do we do? 1081 again. We're going Neve today, I'll tell you what. Let's just really cut out some of that low.
Ever wanna come to Tennessee? Ever wonder where? Ever get tired of rock and roll?
Fabrizio! Right on. Yeah, so I have the comments here. I'll try to keep track of it. But yeah, Little Trash, I just want to shout you out real quick for how the lead vocals are processed. This is why I wanted to handle it a bit differently first, is because I know I de-essed it because this one had a problem with that. It was very sharp in the sibilants. And I actually ended up running this out through my TLAs, so I was wondering, I think it might not be a bad idea to try to compress it through a hardware compressor, and I'll show you guys how I run that. Heck, let's just do that right now. Let's see if we can get that going. So I need a patch cable to be exact. Let's do hybrid mixing today, guys. We are hybrid mixing. Let's turn on one of these bad boys. And what we have to do is send the lead vocal out of a line. And since this is, we'll just go with a mono channel and we'll go line 1. And now, so that'll be sending just out. And I don't think if I solo this out, you can't even hear it. It's playing, but you need a return now. This is one of the ways that they used to do traditional console mixing, is so they'd send it out, they'd have to send it back in on a new channel. That's just some old school stuff there. So let's go ahead and create our new channel. It's going to be audio channel. This is going to be LV return, just so we know what it is. And let's color coordinate. Now what I can do at this point is I can just turn this off, right? But let's do one thing. I do want to take a look at this, is the frequency spectrum. Now I don't have a fab filter or anything like that. I wish I did. I'll probably pick that up next actually, but all I have for right now is, what is it? Neutron, there you go. I've got ozone, I've got neutron elements as well, so let's pull that up. And now I don't have this, but I do want to see where all the frequencies and stuff are hidden. Sometimes it helps to see. And you can see I probably would want to low or high pass this. So I got all this noise. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to use a 1081 to do it. So let's remove this bad boy and type in 1081. Sorry for the noise. And actually, I'll probably just go 1081 SE. I don't really need anything other than the EQ, and this makes it way less intensive. And then what I'll do is I'll also go to like the 180 area and just kind of pull down a bit before I hit my compression. So that way, when I compress, it compensates for it. So now we're coming out of 1. Let's go into TLA. It's right in front of me. And then we'll come out of it, and let's go back into inputs number 1. And now on this, the return, it says already on mic high Z number 1. I've seen something, I can't really remember the process for it actually, but if I go into this input mode, this should be it. Oh, but it's soloed. I need to make that solo safe, I believe. Oh yeah, helps if I'm in line mode. You guys, you're seeing me figure this out in real time. What is going on? Oh, you know what? I think I know, because I'm in console tracking mode. Let's see what's going on here. What in the world? It's coming out, line 1. What am I doing wrong? Input 1. This should work. Oh, duh. So focused on, you know, it's funny because bouncing around from Logic and Luna, what I find all the time is that these settings mess with me. And so in Logic, outputs 3 and 4 are the same thing as in Luna's outputs 1 and 2. So it gets really confusing whenever I jump back and forth, and I get kind of tripped up every time I start to do this again. But should be good to go now. Let's listen to this.
But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where the
Question. Let's see what's going on here.
But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this Rolling Stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket.
Kat, how does your vocal sound?
I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee.
So, let's see what's going on here. This should be in time. I'd be really shocked if it's not.
But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this Rolling Stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee.
Cool, there we go. So that's a pretty simple setting. So this is tube leveler, literal trash. I just want to do I mix by phone or by using it only on live? Not sure. Not sure if I understand here. Do I mix by like headphones, or let me know in the comments, Fabrizio. So let's go back to this real quick. I'm going to zoom out and let's listen to our harmony bus, how it responds to the lead vocal now that we've kind of pushed that in there.
But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest, I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you want to rock and roll with this rolling stone, don't overthink it, just buy a ticket.
So now that I've got this vocal and it's already set up, what I could actually just do if I really wanted to, if I want to keep my mix looking simple, is hide this sending signal. And there you go. So now I just have the return vocal, which is the lead vocal, then my harmonies, then my pads, all that kind of good stuff. But let's go back and start from the beginning here. Ooh. Helps if we're not soloed.
You said you liked me for being real, no smoke, no mirrors, and as the dust has settled down, now I see it clearly, it was the first.
Yeah, Vincent, I think I might, but I've ran into both situations too where like I've done this before, I haven't had a single problem, but you might be right in this instance. Gosh, I wish I could leave this in a better spot, but yeah, no, you're good. The cool thing is too, I don't know if you watched the Luna office hours, but they had UAD had a live stream today, and they were showcasing some features in the utility section that haven't come out yet, which is pretty cool that they do that for us. But yeah, you'll have to check that out. But basically, they showed this feature where you can delay. So I think that's probably, if I had to guess, the precursor to what they need to do to figure out how to make all this outboard gear work, if I had to be a guessing man. But all right, cool. So now that we got that figured out, I also want to show a software solution here too. So let's mute that. I wonder if I could send this bad boy to an output. Yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. So we're going to send this to line 1 out, and now we're also going to have this go. And the reason I'm going to do that is to share a software to the hardware. Let's see. Yeah, FabFilter looks awesome. FabFilter looks really cool. I'd like to pick one up, I think, to be honest, especially since now I'm in this Luna environment. I think it'd be really helpful because I kind of heavily relied on the graphical EQ built into Logic for a while, and it helps every now and then, you know. So let's add on, oh, hold on here. I have to think about this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna duplicate this track. See, if I am sending audio out, right? Let's duplicate. There we go. If I'm sending audio out on one of them, I don't want it to have the processing. So this makes everything way simpler. So let's remove the send on one of those and actually remove the send on both of them because I don't need them. And then just send one of them out to line 1. This will be a much better comparison. So what I'll do is have that on, mute that one, and now let's add a similar plugin, LA2A. And so I've got this on the medium with a fast release, which is going to be the gray LA2A. So let's see. Let's first listen to just this LV return.
You said you liked me for being real. No smoke, no mirrors. And as the dust has settled down,
So that's gonna be the,
now I see it clear.
that's gonna be the mark, somewhere right in that area. Let's see what we can get with this. We've got about somewhere right around there. See how this reacts. Let's see if it's similar. Let's mute, unmute.
You said you liked me for being real. No smoke, no mirrors. And as the dust has settled down, now I see it clearly. It was the first time.
You can see that reacts totally differently. Let's push this gain up a bit too. It's a very similar setting.
You said you liked me for being real. No smoke, no mirrors. And as the dust has settled down, now I see it clearly. It was the first time in a long time I felt my heart beating.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, this should do it.
You said you liked me for being real. No smoke, no mirrors.
Oh, I don't want that.
You said you liked me for being real. No smoke, no mirrors. And as the dust has settled down, now I see it clearly. It was the first time in a long time that I felt my heart beating. Excuse me if I'm out of line, but I felt yours right with me. We were just two country kids, half drunk and dreaming. I think I thought I loved you the most.
Yeah, cool. Pretty similar overall. They're kind of doing a similar thing there. What I found when I was doing my compression with the TLA versus the software version is I just couldn't ever get it to... The hardware seemed to actually warm up the sound and kind of change the EQ curve. Of course, it's a real piece of hardware, so I mean, it's going to. Whereas the software version was just a bit too clean for me. So that's kind of why I went that way. But since we're digital right now, it doesn't matter if I keep it on or off. So let's for now just keep it muted. We'll keep it off so we're not using any DSP, and it's very similar sound, so that's cool. Let's check this out. Let's see what we're going on with these pads and these acoustic buses.
You said you liked me for being real. No smoke, no mirrors. And as the dust has settled down, now I see it clearly. It was the first time in a long time that I felt my heart beating. And excuse me if I'm out of line, but I felt yours right with me. We were just two country kids, half drunk and dreaming. I think
We're probably gonna have to get out some of this nasty, muddy area. Let's just shelve this at like 300, pull it down a bit. Let's get a wide Q going at 1,000. this mandolin needs to come down a bit now since it's kind of getting compensated for.
Really, it was the first time in a long time that I felt my heart beating. And excuse me if I'm out of line, but I felt yours right with me. We were just two country kids, half drunk and dreaming. I think I thought I loved you the moment that I seen you. We talked and danced and laughed and smiled.
So one thing we have to do also is deal with this piano. Now I remember what I did. I actually saved presets because I wanted the real piano sound, like the specific piano sound. What I did is I added this Korg. excuse me. Let's see, where's my presets? If it'll let me load them. I haven't tried to load mine in here before. I wonder where you import these, because I definitely have saved it. Let's see what happens over here. Interesting. Let me know in the comments if you know where I should be going. I know where they are in this. Here, let's go to applications, application support. Should be in here. Unless it just didn't save it. That'd be a bummer. All right, now, so I've got, this is what we did. We basically built this delay. I synced it. I believe it might have been like a 1/8. And let's go to just this verse area. Something like this. Pull this down, and then I'm also going to add a compressor because I want the smack of the hammers to really kind of peek through there. So this would be another 1176. Let's go with Legacy SE. Slower attack, faster release. See if we can get dirty it up. I like that dirtiness of the sound there. It's kind of cool. So if you guys are, you UAD users out there, you guys probably overlook these plugins all the time. But one plugin is the Precision series, Precision Channel Strip. Super low DSP overhead, and I don't really use many other plugins outside of the UAD realm. So I find myself, especially in Luna now, like I can't go to that generic EQ that's built into Logic anymore to do simple stuff. But actually another one we could do in this instance, because I'm just kind of low passing some stuff here, or high passing. Rather than using this, I could also use the Pultec one, which is actually pretty powerful. Let's look for that. Pultec. Boom. And let's high pass a lot of stuff. Cleans up. That's much nicer. Cool. Right on. So what are you guys thinking here? Twin X, X4, or Twin Quad? P. Stevens, I'll help you with this one. Do you use a lot of outboard gear? If you do, the X4 is probably going to make you a bit happier just with the extra I/O. You can get a lot of stuff accomplished with the Twin. And of course it's more portable because it's literally smaller physically. But yeah, you'd probably want to go the other route. We're going to have to deal with this D-bus action in just a second, because I think we're getting these acoustics to a good spot. Where's my vocal?
And stop signs. But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest.
Started clipping on that a bit. That's not good. Let's add a tape. If we're clipping anywhere, we're clipping into the tape. I'm not really worried about clipping right now.
And stop signs. But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this...
Oh, you know what? I don't think that this is in the monitoring path for this. Yeah, that's...
And stop signs. But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where...
Interesting. Okay, well, never mind. Moving on. We'll get to effects in just a minute. Yeah. We gotta definitely add some effects on this vocal. I know that I have a lot of effects actually. But yeah, no, P. Stevens, Kat brings up a good point. This song was made entirely on the Twin and is doing quite well in Australia right now. Kat, if you're in the comments still, tell everybody about what's going on, like your successes with this song and your experience tracking and building the song on the Twin with me, and just share your thoughts.
And stop signs. But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this Rolling Stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee.
So I think an interesting thing to note, I remember this also, is on just this acoustic guitar, I think it was compressed a bit, so I think what I'm just going to do is just crank it and let it hit the summing. Where is it? On this bus? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'm just going to let it slam into this summing, and then it's also got this thing going on, which I've got to add some compression on this bad boy. So we'll do that now.
And stop signs. If you ever want to come, it's in the same. If you ever want to and stop signs. If you ever want to come, it's in the same. If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise.
Hey, thanks, P. Stevens. I think it does sound great. It helps that it's a good song, too. Good job, Kat.
And stop signs. If you ever want to come, it's in the same. If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. These bites of it, I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, it was the first time I let a good thing go and tried not to chase it. I didn't want to hold too tight, I didn't want to break it. I still think of you sometimes and smile and pray that you're doing fine out there in the unknown. I hope the light in you is shining bright. But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise.
What's going on here with this? What do we got? I actually almost never use this particular plugin, but I thought it might be cool to use it since we're doing a lot of Neve summing. So what, we've got some gate, threshold for, I'm assuming, let's pull this because we want this to be a fast attack. How do you pull on the, oh, it should just be a shift. Am I doing something wrong here? All right. So ratio, let's go 3. Release. Gain. There we go.
And stop signs. If you ever want to come, it's in the same. If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise.
Is the battery organic or MIDI? The drums? Oh yeah. The drums are actually MIDI. I like to use Easy Drummer a lot, and this is on the early side of when I started really diving into Easy Drummer. Nowadays, I actually program my drums with layers, similar to how like Mutt Lange would do this, but basically you'd have your main kit kind of going through the whole song, and then like different sections kind of have different flavors and layers on top of one another. It really brings the percussion to life. But you'd be surprised if you check out Mix with the Masters. They just did one on Born in the USA, that old song, and the snare drum there that they used was like 5 or 6 different layers kind of just blended on top of one another. It's pretty cool to hear how they did that, even back then, back in like the late 80s. Pretty awesome. Let's do...
And stop signs. If you ever want to come, it's in the same. If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket.
Actually, you know what I should be doing on this acoustic bus is a distressor. Let's do that. Let's remove this. Let's add a distressor. I want to get this thing sounding awesome. Let's just automatically crush the headroom on this.
And stop signs. And if you ever want to
what is this business right here? We might need to EQ this too. 1081. We're sticking with a theme here. Go SE. All right, let's go back. Man, these plugins are huge on this 1080 screen. It's insane. I think I'm trying to get it close to my rack. Yeah, this is like 3 rack spaces on my screen. That's funny. Oh, I think my phone just died on me. I don't have my comments anymore. Let me read them over here. Yeah, if you know the tricks, man. Well, he'd be getting the quad DSP, which on the 6. I have 6 in this rack Apollo, and I can have pretty big sessions. I don't ever really run out of DSP on my sessions. But if you, I don't know, if you're kind of doing a lot of certain plugins are much heavier than others. Like if you did Capital Chambers, you'd be out no matter what. Like Capital Chambers is huge, but yeah. Anyways. Back to the mix. Every now and then I need just like a second or two to compose my thoughts on this mix. All right, cool. So that's kind of making that one sound where I want it to sound. Let's hear the others. Let's hear a chorus bit. It's really jumpy. It just sounds slammed. Let's listen to with the kit. Honestly, I'm kind of dreading this part. I don't know. Well, we could probably compress this on outboard gear as well. Why not? This is how I built it then, so let's throw some master tape on this. Ampex ATR. Let's see what our presets are on this. Sometimes I like to just throw their, yeah, here we go, push drum bus. Let's see how this sounds. What do you know? That actually sounds really good. Let's just leave it there. Cool, so this is starting to sound pretty balanced between drum bus, bass, acoustic guitars, mandolin. We got to bring in some of these electric guitars now. actually think that this is way too compressed now. Just kind of listening to it as I go. Let's change the ratio a bit. You can really hear it in my headphones. I don't know about you guys on your end, but you can really hear all of the like saturation really starting to build up from all of these like emulations, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of what I'm going for right now. But whenever I jump off here, I've only got a little bit longer before I think my camera will probably not want to deal with this any longer. It's a DSLR, and eventually it overheats and says no more. But definitely go and check out Kat's song on her YouTube channel. Check out the music video and see what you guys think of this mix that we're just kind of throwing together here versus the final mix. I don't think it compares. I think final mix sounds really good. But yeah, let's just press forward and kind of let's say that this is what we're going with, and let's bring in those harmonies. Let's bring in everything else, so we really hear where we're at. What am I soloing? I'm soloing something.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just bite to it.
Let's see where we're at also on loudness. So if you don't know about it, check out ULean ULean Loudness Meter 2. I've got it set to Spotify requirements if you don't know about the LUFS stuff, but let's see where we're at.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just bite to it. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. Ever wanna come to Tennessee? It was the first time I let a good thing go. I tried not to chase it. I didn't wanna hold too tight. I didn't wanna break it. I still think of you sometimes and smile and pray that you're doing fine out there in the unknown. I hope the light in you is shining bright. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee,
hold on, I think I just created a track. I want a bus. How do I delete this bad boy? Delete reverb. Add bus. Reverb. Neve summing. Stereo. So I'm going to add just a simple reverb for like the acoustic instruments. Now I remember this, I used a lexicon for this in the original mix. Don't know what my settings were. But what we'll do just to keep things simple is just hit send from the master acoustic bus. And let's just send it here. Simple as that. slammed now.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll.
I think I'm redlining my tube leveler. This is pretty loud. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Let's just turn down D-Bus.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest.
I think the mix kind of got off track, Ressers. It's a bit off. That's all right. And let's pull these guys down. I'll probably have to do some EQing on these.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll. Don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone.
Yeah, I'm redlining that. That's weird. Okay. Where's the comments at? Hey, thanks for the kind words, P. Stevens. If you, I'm not sure. I've had so many subscribers lately. If you haven't subscribed, just check the little subscribe box, man, because I do a ton of this stuff, and every Monday I'm going to be now doing these live streams. So I appreciate the nice words, man. That's awesome. Stream of consciousness over here. This is interesting. Yeah, I'm just totally redlining. For right now, let's stick to Into the Box. Let's just go back to this sound.
I'm honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this.
And let's turn these back on.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone. Where this will lead, I'm being honest.
I guess I don't need this real-time monitoring on for that. It's weird the metering wasn't showing up. Okay, so what I know I need now is something for this vocal. Now, if I remember right, what I did for the vocal is I had another bus, and let's just go down here. Delay. And I had a chord delay for this one as well. Where is my effect send? I think I might have did like a fourth on this one. Maybe a wet solo. Oh, you know what? That's probably where I was having weirdness on this lexicon. Oh, it is wet soloed. Okay. So wheat. Push the depth on it.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone. Don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you.
Let's pull that down. Might be something like that, actually.
Where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone. Don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. If you ever wanna come to Tennessee.
So one thing I did is I automated this send to the delay in the original mix so that you could like pick and choose what words receive the delay signal. So for example, the ending of this would be somewhere in here, I think.
I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. If you ever wanna come to Tennessee. It was the first time I let a good thing go and tried not to chase it. I didn't want.
Yeah, just simple. It just kind of comes in and out. I definitely don't have the right timing on that. I'll figure that out in a moment. But we have another effect here, and probably only got a few more minutes left in me. But let's add a reverb in the verses for, actually we'll rename this Volksverb. What I did on the verses is I added a Galaxy tape echo. Send this to Volksverb, and this went to here. And I believe it just was reverb only. So, and I might have even EQ'd this after the fact too. Excuse me. We're going to go precision channel strip on this one. I just need something simple, high pass, low pass. We'll take out the dynamics on it and just move this up to somewhere around the low mid, somewhere around 400, and then pull out a lot of the high end, which it mostly already is on this, but let's hear this verb on its own.
It was the first time I let a good thing go and tried not to chase it. I didn't want to hold too tight. I didn't want it. I still think of you sometimes and smile and pray that you're doing fine out there in the unknown. I hope the light in you is shining bright. But if you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'll be on. I'll make you a promise. Ever get tired of being alone? You wanna rock and roll this rolling stone? Don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee,
I actually sent this effect over to the delay as well.
Let's
go back to that solo.
Tennessee. If you ever want to come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest, make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock the world of a rolling stone, don't think it. Go buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna set you free. I'm gonna take my heart and you can have a piece. If you ever wanna come to Tennessee, if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, Tennessee. Ever wanna come and see?
Let's listen to. Oh, hold on here. Hey, P. Stevens, man, thanks for subbing, man. We got some people in there. Hey, guys, leave a comment if you're watching. Happy to answer questions here. My phone died. I was having the comments right here, so now I'm kind of just getting lost in this mix. But I'm checking on you guys here and there. Check out these guitars with the Studer. We're just going to listen to just them for a second. This is real cool. So if you have the tape, the oxide tape, the Studer will work as well. But when you go to track your electric guitars, throw on the oxide or throw on the Studer and just let it kind of crunch up a bit. And I'll show you like a simple before and after. Let's do a current. This is like that mastering level of tape saturation that you'd find in your mastering phase, where you want to add all that extra saturation. This is where you find it. And you don't even have to mess with adding saturation plugins at the end when you're in mastering. Just do it now. I mean, the reality is, like, with mastering too, is it's basically just part of mixing. So, I mean, you don't have to necessarily send it off to someone who masters just to do the things that you could do while you're mixing. So much of what YouTube talks about in terms of or what people on YouTube talk about with mastering kind of assumes that you're handing every bit of this off to someone else. So for example, they're like, oh, gain stage, make sure everything's hitting at -18, right? Well, that's assuming that it's like, oh, today's Tuesday and I've got an acoustic guitar session, so I better make sure that I track it at -18 to -15, somewhere in there, so that tomorrow when I send it off to Joe to put into his setting or into his session, he'll have enough headroom to move it and do what he wants. Well, if you're building this session from the ground to the the finished product, you can put it where you need it for the track. So yeah, take some of what people say on the internet and try to put it into some context as well. Anyway, that's my rant. All right.
If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, I'm being honest, make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock the world and hold the stone, don't think it. Go buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna set you free. I'm gonna take my heart and you can have a piece. If you ever wanna come to Tennessee, ever wanna come to Tennessee, 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 yeah. If you ever...
Let's throw on something. Just something for some smack. Let's do slow, fast. See what this does on this drum bus.
If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. Yeah, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee,
yeah, I definitely think we got thrown off a bit on this this compressor. Most of this mix also was kind of like hybrid mixed too, so I'm not really doing a whole lot of that right now. But yeah, here we go. Let's just take this off. Take that off.
If you ever wonder where this... ticket. make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock the world of a rolling stone, don't think it. Goodbye ticket. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. I'm gonna take my heart, but you can have a piece. If you ever wanna come to Tennessee, if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, 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 yeah. If you ever wanna come to Tennessee, Tennessee.
Not bad. Let's see if we can add some more mid-range in this lead vocal here.
If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. I get tired of being alone. You wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee.
Alright, cool. So let's deal with this. Let's just throw on some limiting here. Let's go Oxford limiter. And I think, put it somewhere in there. Auto comp.
If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you.
We're definitely pretty loud here.
If you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock.
Okay, so roughly our choruses are somewhere around -11.8. Is that right? Let's look at a verse.
It was the first time in a long time that I felt my heart beating. And excuse me if I'm out of line, but I felt yours right with me. We were just two country kids, half drunk and dreaming. I think I thought I loved you the moment that I seen you. We talked and danced and laughed and smiled and tried to hold on to the night with those state lines and stop signs. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, it was the first time I let a good thing go and tried not to chase it. I didn't wanna hold too tight, I didn't wanna break it. I still think of you sometimes and smile and pray that you're doing fine out there in the unknown. I hope the light in you is shining bright. But if you ever wanna come to Tennessee, if you ever wonder where this will lead, I'm being honest. I'll make you a promise. If you ever get tired of being alone, you wanna rock and roll this rolling stone, don't overthink it. Just buy a ticket. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna set you free. But if you ever.
So, I mean, we didn't really go from the start of the song, but just kind of looking at a couple things here. Loudness range, 4.6 LU. Ideally, you'd probably want that around 6, 5 to 6, somewhere in there. And then you've got your LUFS, -12.8. That's a bit louder, but still within the acceptable standards technically. If I would pull this volume down by like a dB, but because everything's based off these averages now, you know, it's not going to really mess your mix up or anything like that after the fact. And our true peak max is -1.5, which is great. Spotify's target is -1, so we're good there. Guys, I think that at this point it's probably a good jumping off point for me. If you guys have any questions, again, I'll be happy to answer here. before we jump off. I do also want to let you guys know that I really appreciate you joining me here today. If you haven't checked out my Console Classics Sessions Pack, you can go to my website. It's thestevekinney.com. Basically, for anyone who's new to the UAD platform, it's a great way to simultaneously support the channel so I can do more content like this, build more videos for you guys, and also learn some traditional signal flows in studios. So it's really cool. And I've also got the ability for you to buy me a cup of coffee there if you just want to do that instead. So either way, all I ask is that you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this process. I know it was kind of cool to go back through this mix for me and hang out with some of you guys today. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And maybe I'll bring this mix back up on the next one, or maybe a later date, and just kind of see where we're at. But if you haven't heard it, go check it out. It's on Spotify, and the song's called Tennessee. Andrew, thanks for commenting, and thanks for watching as well. So, yeah, pretty cool little tune. Rebuilding it, it's always interesting doing it in a different DAW with a different system, and you know, I don't think the magic really compares to the real mix. So definitely go check it out, give it a listen, and comment on this video and be like, wow, Steve, you suck. This was a terrible mix. The pro one was better. Your first one was way better, Steve. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.